Andy was known in his village as someone who had big dreams but always gave up when things got hard. Whether it was learning the guitar, starting a small business, or even running a few miles, Andy's enthusiasm would fade the moment he hit a challenge. "It's just not meant for me," he'd tell himself. One day, an elderly traveler named Bhima arrived in the village. He was a wise man known for his adventurous life and his knack for helping others find their purpose. Andy, curious but skeptical, approached him. "Master Bhima," Andy began hesitantly, "how do you keep going when things get hard? I always feel like giving up." Bhima smiled and said, "Come with me tomorrow morning. I'll show you." The next morning, Bhima took Andy to the base of a steep mountain. The path was narrow, rocky, and stretched far beyond what Andy could see. "I want you to climb this mountain with me," Bhima said. Andy's eyes widened. "That's impossible. I'll never make it to the top." Bhima chuckled. "I didn't say anything about reaching the top. Just walk with me and do your best." Reluctantly, Andy agreed. The climb. The first part of the journey wasn't too bad. The path was smooth and Andy felt confident. "This isn't so hard," he thought. But soon the trail became steeper, and loose rocks made every step treacherous. Andy's legs ached and sweat poured down his face. He stopped and said, "I can't do this. I'm too tired." Bhima, who was walking steadily ahead, turned and said, "Can you take just one more step?" Andy hesitated but nodded. "I think I can do one more step." "Good," Bhima said. "Focus only on that. Not the top, not the distance. Just one step." Andy took another step and then another. Slowly, he began to find a rhythm, focusing only on the next step instead of the daunting path ahead. The lesson. After hours of climbing, they reached a small plateau. The view was breathtaking. Andy sat down, exhausted but proud. "You see, Andy," Bhima began, "most people give up because they focus on how far they still have to go. They let the big picture overwhelm them. But success isn't about leaping to the top. It's about taking one step and then another." Andy thought about all the times he'd quit before. He realized he had been so focused on instant results that he'd never allowed himself to endure the process. "What if I fail even after trying?" Andy asked. Bhima smiled. "Failure is just another step. It teaches you where to go next. The only true failure is giving up completely." Rejuvenated, Andy and Bhima continued climbing. Hours later, they reached the summit. Andy couldn't believe he had made it. The village below looked tiny, and he felt like he was on top of the world. "This feeling," Bhima said, "comes not from reaching the top, but from knowing you didn't quit when it was hard. Remember, Andy, life is like this mountain. You don't conquer it in one leap. You conquer it step by step." From that day forward, Andy approached life differently. Whether it was learning a new skill or facing a setback, he stopped looking at how far he had to go and focused on taking one step at a time. Whenever he felt like giving up, he would whisper to himself, "Just one more step.